You've been feeling it, haven't you? That quiet ache, the heaviness, the knowing that something needs to shift, but you're not sure how? You don't need to figure it all out. You just need a space to release, realign, and remember who you are. I'm Jennifer Pilates, and I invite you to join me for Reiki Moon Magic Distant Healing, a sacred healing experience that goes far beyond Reiki. This is a transformational energy work that cleanses the emotional clutter, clears energetic blocks, and realigns your entire being, body, mind, and spirit. Held under the sacred light of the moon, you'll enter a deeply nourishing frequency where healing happens on every level. If you've been carrying too much, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Your healing, your release, your return to light. Reserve your space for the next Reiki Moon Magic Distant Healing at jenniferpilates.com. Come as you are, leave, transformed and empowered, body, mind, and spirit. Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul-quenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Hi there, and welcome to the show. I am over the moon excited for our guest today, Tom Paladino. Tom is a pioneering scalar energy researcher with over 25 years of experience developing transformative healing techniques using scalar light. Inspired by Nikola Tesla, Tom discovered an energy beyond electromagnetic spectrum and harnessed it to create scalar light instruments. These instruments can identify and negate pathogens, balance brain waves, and harmonize chakras, offering profound benefits for mind, body, and soul. His Scalar Light Nutrient Program provides a groundbreaking protocol for psychological and emotional well-being, enhancing the health of people, animal, and even plants. Welcome to the show, Tom.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you here. So first, let's dive right in and talk about where this all started for you, because this is such an incredible journey that you've been on and such an incredible research path.
Yeah.
How did you start?
I was young. I started to read about Nikola Tesla and his great advances in science. And I realized that Nikola Tesla, later in his life, was working with information, no longer electricity. That's the key to my research. I work with information, scalar information. I don't work with electricity. So I started at a young age to appreciate the work of Nikola Tesla and other scientists who took up this new branch of physics. Some people call it quantum physics. I call it scalar physics. To be clear, this is non-physical in character. There's not a proton involved. So we're really dealing with perhaps chi, prana. Some people call it consciousness. We're dealing with the essence of the universe. And this consciousness, this essence is so important because it instructs the universe. So what am I doing? I'm a scalar light researcher working with the instructions of the universe.
Okay. I mean, so are we dialing up 1-800-Universe?
Yes, we are. This is at the very top of creation. This is at the apex of creation. So to be clear, if we look at creation, we look at nature. What is fundamental? What is the first principle? Energy, light. The physical body, the chemical state is the effect. It's not fundamental. I choose to work at the fundamental level, the level of instructions, the level of light, because you can do so much more with light as compared to a chemical reaction.
Right. So when you're working with scalar light, how does it work? Is this in person? Is this not? Let's talk about it.
Okay. So studying Tesla, I realized I had to develop instruments to harness scalar energy. To define my term, scalar energy, scalar light is the divine instructions from the sun and the stars. Keep in mind, this is non-physical instructions. So over my career, I've developed scalar energy instruments. I've had the help of brilliant engineers. And today I'm poised to present to this world a new science, a non-physical science of consciousness or instructions. The key to my work moving forward is I can control that energy through a scalar light instrument. I'm in my laboratory for that reason, to demonstrate the instrument. So this is a scientific approach. Engineered instruments have been shown to harness and control that spectrum of energy. And once you can access that dimension, it's incredible what you can do. The output, the performance of these instruments is absolutely incredible.
And are these instruments that you specifically have designed?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Over the years, yes.
To truly be able to harness the scalar light the way that you want it to be harnessed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And when you were going through this research, what was your mission? I want to, you know what I mean? Is it I want to heal the world? Like what were you trying to get to?
That was one of my desires, to heal the world. And we're fast approaching that goal. I realize that this is the energy from the sun and the stars, which is free energy. And the sun and the stars give us that energy without the need of satellites or wires or step-down transformers. So in all sincerity, this is free energy with a free infrastructure. Now, what would the world do with free energy with a free infrastructure? Well, put into this context, we spend $10 trillion globally producing energy, distributing energy, researching energy. I'm saying that this is much, much easier, safer, and it won't cost $10 trillion.
Mm-hmm. Now, I heard a rumor when you're working with your instruments, and I didn't know this at first, that you use clear quartz crystals to amplify. Okay, so this I only found out a couple of weeks ago, and I went, wait, what? Because I love my crystals. Talk to me about how and why you chose to integrate the clear quartz crystals.
Okay. In the background is a scalar energy instrument. It acts like a sun. Let me first demonstrate this. If I hold a light bulb in my hand, the instrument will illuminate the light bulb because there's so much energy coming off the instrument. Now, I have found that there's various materials, and this is through experimentation, that amplify scalar energy. I've pulled out a quartz crystal rod. This is manufactured. This is 99.9% silicon dioxide quartz crystal. Quartz amplifies the scalar wave. And when I place this quartz crystal rod inside the Tesla coil, it amplifies the energy. Now, this gives great credence to the fact that a lot of people work with crystal quartz and they feel the chi, the prana. They're absolutely right. This quartz crystal can embody, capture scalar energy, and then magnify it, maybe 100-fold, maybe 1,000-fold. And that's why I use quartz crystal with my instruments. It's a solid crystal rod of quartz.
Wow, that is incredible. And so that's inside that kind of vessel thing that I'm seeing right there, that silver vessel?
Yeah, that silver vessel is known as the Tesla coil. So all of this is a lot of geometry, and all the parts have to work together. It's a lot of permutations here, but at the end of the day, I have a miniature star. Yes, that's what a scalar energy instrument is, the miniature star.
Oh my gosh, well, I want a miniature star.
Everybody does.
Right. So let me ask you, you're calling the cylinder, I guess would be the appropriate word, the cylinder, you call that a Tesla coil?
Yes, that I'm pointing to it. That's a Tesla coil. And Tesla was the originator, in which he just takes wire and it's a spiral of wire. Why? Tesla found that amplifies either electricity, or in this case, it amplifies scalar energy. There's a lot of geometry to this. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to amplify the signal. Scalar energy is omnipresent, but in this world and on planet Earth, it's weak. So we want to significantly amplify a scalar wave.
Okay. So how do you do this with people? Before we tell everybody that, I want everyone to know, yes, I did experience this, and I'm like, can't wait to tell you, but I have to give you all the good details behind the scenes first.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, this has nothing to do with the medicine or modern day science, meaning it's not Newtonian science. This is a new science, a new branch of science, and only a few physicists like myself have ever developed instruments like that and had experience, specific hands-on experience with this energy. And so with that in mind, I'll explain how this works. But keep in mind, this is not electricity. When I work with people, I never work with people. I've never worked with a human being in my life. I work with a photograph, which is their representation. I hold up my photograph, that's a source of light. I don't work with the biological person, I work with the energetic person. So if you will, people can bilocate to my laboratory. I don't want 500,000 people coming to my laboratory every day. I want 500,000 photographs coming to my laboratory. This is the quantum realm in which we can have communication through the force field on the photograph. We're having a conversation through our computers. Great. Jennifer's not in my laboratory. I'm not in your office. I see your image, just as I can see an image through this instrument. I actually print out a person's photograph and I place it inside the scalar energy instrument. And
So
once, go ahead.
so I can see the square. So is the cylinder, the Tesla cylinder, lying down inside there?
The Tesla cylinder is back here.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And there's 2 Tesla cylinders, 2 Tesla coils. But anything within, say, 3 or 4 feet of that Tesla instrument, that those Tesla coils is feeling the energy. It's a lot of energy.
Wow.
It's, if you will, the radius is at least 3 or 4 feet. Now, with that in mind, as soon as I place a person's photograph inside that instrument, that photograph enters into another dimension, the scalar energy dimension. There's 2 dimensions, there's 2 realities. And people are correct. There's a space-time continuum, there's a space-time universe, call it what you will. There are 2 different realities. This is the physical Tom in this electromagnetic spectrum. My photograph is entered into another dimension by way of a scalar energy interface. Let's call it an interface. That is the quiddity of my work. I don't work with electricity and magnetism. I work with another type of energy. That energy requires that you go from an electromagnetic spectrum to a scalar spectrum. Right now, my photograph is in a different dimension.
Now, for those out there who talk a lot about being, this is the 3D world, then there's the 5D world, to be able to relate it, I feel like you're going past 5D.
I might be. I probably am. And why? I firmly believe this energy is divine. What am I getting at? Who created the sun and the stars? And who maintains the light, the energy of the sun and the stars? If you consider that there's trillions of galaxies, who maintains that? My contention is God. So I am accessing the light, the energy of God. Again, electricity is really slow. It's a slow movement of electrons. An electric current is useful, but it's not omnipresent. This energy is the energy that drives, that motivates the stars. I'd much rather work with scalar energy as opposed to electricity.
Absolutely. Okay. So with that being said, I feel like now is a good time to let people know that Tom was so generous and allowed me to experience this for 15 days. Also, my 2 kitty cats. So all of you know I love my fur babies. Those are my children, Lola and JJ. And so also everyone knows I'm incredibly protective about who and what I let into my energetic field because, well, I've had some not so great experiences in my journey. And so Tom also experienced me freaking out at one point going, oh my God, what is happening? But what Tom also experienced was that I had such an incredible feeling of peace and calmness. And as if, yes, I was walking on this earth and in my daily activities, but it's like everything was going by me. So if the world was ending, I was like, well, that's too bad. I'm feeling wonderful and not in a crazy way. It was just in this amazing, amazing, I don't want to use the word blissful because it was blissful, but I don't want people to think I was out of it. I wasn't out of it. I felt so light and so free of let's say the crap, for lack of a better word, the dense energy that had been weighing me down. And I feel that, and you can explain to this, Tom, I feel that that's what this is doing. It's breaking up and helping to release and get rid of the denseness that's holding us down.
I agree.
Okay.
Why? It's non-physical instructions. It's non-physical divine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, what do I like about my work? It's not physical. There's no chemicals. We're working at a metaphysical level, a level of instructions, perfect instructions, perfect intelligence, divine intelligence. And when my photograph is placed in that force field, I am beyond space and time. And I agree with you. Many people have that out-of-body experience, or they have that experience that they're very calm. Mm-hmm. Because the energy does calm people. The energy does have a salubrious effect. At least so many people say that. How's that possible through a photograph? Well, we have to study this new science to understand how this works. Again, we are now in a different dimension of energy. This has nothing to do with electricity and magnetism. So I contend that quantum physics, metaphysics, is a non-physical information. It's non-physical divine intelligence. And on account of the fact that this is intelligence, nothing can go wrong. I'm going to repeat that. Working at this level, this first cause, this first principle, nothing can go wrong. Light energy follows the laws of science. Nothing can go wrong. And because of that, people feel better. Why? Because they're receiving divine intelligence and nothing can go wrong.
It's pretty incredible. And I remember when I sent you that email, I also said that with my one kitty, Lola, who is going to be 10, I noticed within the first couple of days, all of a sudden she was a kitten again.
No.
Like just out of the blue. And my other little boy, JJ, who he's very emotional and he can be very high strung and anxiety. I could see him just calm. Like you could just see it.
Really?
And I just felt that was so amazing. And what was really cool was that I had a girlfriend who I then signed up so that we could go through it together, so that we could go back and forth. And I recommend this to anyone, like do it with a friend so that you can go back and forth, because you're going to think, no, am I really feeling this amazing and so light, and just not that you don't have a care in a world, but you don't really have a care in the world. You just feel lovely. Things aren't getting to you. And I really feel, and it wasn't so, and I've lived disembodied, and most of you listening, you know that through the trauma that I've been through in my life. I didn't feel disembodied. I was very aware that I was here. And I was so grateful that I no longer had to feel the denseness of being here. So I want to make that clear too. Like I'm still here. I was definitely still wasn't floating as much as I like to float. It was so incredible for me. So talk to me about how this incredible work that you do can help support people both physically, emotionally, mentally, to help with any dis-ease, we'll use that word, within.
Okay. That's a great point. First, let me show the audience a time-lapse photograph of scalar energy. It's a double helix. That's a Tesla coil, and at the very top is this double helix. What does that look like? It looks like, to me, DNA. So what's my point? A scalar wave, my estimation, creates and maintains DNA. So what's the point? If a scalar wave creates and maintains DNA, we are made of star energy, sun energy, that divine energy that I speak of. That's what gives us our being, scalar energy. Now, with that in mind, scalar energy, it spins. It's a, if you will, a vortex. It's constantly spinning, constantly spinning. I believe that's responsible for spinning our chakras. Everybody has 7 main chakras. They spin, constantly spinning. Why? Scalar energy spins them. The spiral of the chakras corresponds to the motivating force, the spiral of scalar energy. So if you want to go back to nature, you go back to energy. Energy is fundamental. Only energy is fundamental. And if you want to balance your chakras, you go back to the first principle. What creates the chakras to begin with? Scalar energy. Well, why not reprogram your chakras with the first principle, scalar energy? See how important this is? We're not working at the chemical state. We're working at the command center of nature.
Mhm.
This is the first principle of everything.
What if I told you healing could be activated with light? Not a pill, not a product, but a frequency, awakening your body's natural ability to regenerate, restore, and rise with vitality. Hi, I'm Jennifer Pilates, and I've seen firsthand how light therapy patches are helping people all over the world reduce pain, calm inflammation, increase collagen, improve energy, and so much more. These non-invasive patches use the power of phototherapy to signal your body back into balance. No chemicals, no side effects, just light. If you've been feeling depleted, foggy, inflamed, or if you simply want to feel more vibrant from the inside out, this might be what your body's been asking for. I've personally experienced the difference, having worn light therapy patches for the past 15 years. I've shared them with clients, my community, and my team. Curious? Head over to jenniferpilates.com to learn more or to reach out for a personalized consultation. Your body remembers how to heal. Light just helps it remember faster. Head over to jenniferpilates.com today to learn more. It is. And it would make sense with when you put it that way. I'm so glad you held up those. When I think logically now about how I felt and releasing the dents, I mean, instantly all my chakras were, boom, we're opened. We're ready to go.
Many people say that these sessions serve to lift their depression. Now, how's that possible through a photograph? I can only theorize that the chakras were open, people no longer have regrets or emotional trauma, and they don't suffer from depression or anxiety, or they no longer have a drinking problem or a drug problem. How is that possible? It's not possible at the chemical level. It's possible at the level of light, because light can correct anything.
Right. And light being, to me, at the cellular level. And that's something that I always speak to. If we want to get to the root cause of something, we've got to get into the cellular level, which is
Yes, we do.
The DNA and the light of what you're speaking.
Yes. And then what instructs the DNA? Once again, it's my belief that scalar energy instructs DNA. So yes, in that case, DNA is at the end of the line. It's the result. What is the animating force? I believe a double helix scalar wave creates our double helix DNA. So people, what am I saying? This is the motivating force. This is the life force that dictates nature.
Right. So let me ask you then, and I think I kind of know the answer, but why, like, I can't even remember how I came across you, how this all happened, but it was divine. I know it was divine. It was a divine intervention, no doubt.
Okay.
I don't believe in coincidences. So why isn't everyone just beckoning you? Why don't we all know about this? We hear hints about med beds. We hear hints about all sorts of different things. We hear all sorts, stand on your head, chakra, all that. This is, to me, is a no-brainer. This was amazing to experience.
That's a very good question. Maybe the answer would be too elaborate. I think there's a lack of education, and perhaps there's suppression. Why? Keep in mind what I've said. This is free energy from the stars. What does free energy mean? It's a new way of looking at industry. It's a new way of looking at life. It forecasts a new economic order. So that might be met with suppression. That might be met with an aggressive response by those who don't want to let go of their money and power.
Right. I mean, because somebody may say, well, if Tom has figured this out for free electricity, how's the what are you using in your house is kind of what I want to ask, but I don't want you to answer.
Yeah. Right now, my main focus is to get the information out on photographic force fields. I want to be very clear again. I never work with people. The photograph is the person. Nobody has to come to my laboratory. When you email your photograph to me, your energy field, your light force is put in the instrument. So this is the easy way. Instead of working with the physical body, we work with their energy field on a photograph. Now, you cannot explain that by Newtonian science. This is not Newtonian science. You've heard many people speak of metaphysics or quantum science or dark matter or the matrix? Well, this is what Tesla and my predecessor, Hieronymus, two scientists, Nikola Tesla and Galen Hieronymus, proved by instruments. My work is not theoretical, it's practical. I have an instrument that follows the laws of science. This is my practice. It's no longer theory. And indeed, there's two realities in the universe: an electromagnetic reality that we admit to, and a scalar energy reality that many of us are intimidated by, some of us suppress.
For those out there thinking about Reiki energy, and I don't think that we can compare this to Reiki energy, but I want people to understand, if they've ever had distant Reiki energy, to sort of compare the scalar light energy as far as how something is possible if you're not physically in person, while these are completely different energies. But I want people to understand that the theory of it, and that essence of you do not have to be present, is the same energetic. It's just that your light work is out of this world, literally.
I use an instrument. Some people use their hands to heal, which are scalar hands, but scalar energy will come from a healing hand. And Reiki or prayer, some people use scalar energy in the form of prayer. Let's just use the catch-all prayer or meditation. What is my point? Look at a thought. Consider this, a thought, human thinking. What is a thought? It has to be some type of construct. What is it? It's a scalar energy construct. A thought transcends time and space. A thought is eternal. A thought is an instruction. What's scalar energy? Scalar energy transcends time and space. Scalar energy can pass through any dimension. Scalar energy is eternal. Scalar energy is a thought or instructions. Now, this is how close we are to scalar energy. We live in a sea of scalar energy. We do not realize it. Thinking and feeling are scalar waves. Now we understand how important thinking and feeling are. When we think, we project a scalar wave. That's right. Every time we think, this is what we project. And every time we feel, we project that double helix. I mean that every word of that. Thinking is non-physical. Scalar energy is non-physical. Thinking transcends time and space. This energy has no limit. It has no speed. It's infinite velocity. So there's no impediment. Thinking can pass through a brick wall. Scalar energy can pass through a brick wall. If I hold up a wooden chopping board and I place it by the instrument, the chopping board is not an impediment to the light bulb.
Wow, that's incredible.
The light bulb will still illuminate even though the chopping board stands in the way. So what are we getting at here? Infinite energy. Energy in which nothing can stop it. Nothing can block scalar energy. That's what we're working with. That is consciousness. I've developed an instrument of consciousness. My instrument is a consciousness instrument.
So speaking to consciousness, do you feel that those that come and they do the scalar energy, that they are elevating to a new energetic field, to a new vibration, that you are sort of helping propel someone on their healing, energetic, dimensional journey?
Yes, yes, I do. Many people say, I just received a testimony 2 days ago from a woman who said that she feels great, her daughter feels great, her family feels great, they're more communicative, they're happier, they can deal with trauma much easier. They've even mentioned that there's some type of release of either alcohol addiction or any type of phobia. Now, how is that possible in my private laboratory through a photograph? Well, it's only possible by way of consciousness, by way of divine instructions. This is what is so enthralling. If this is what I can accomplish, one researcher with a scalar light instrument, in which I can find and tap into that other dimension, I want the world to know that there is a dimension of consciousness, that it offers mankind extraordinary benefits.
Which are incredible, again, because I experienced them. So I also want to talk about, because I did what I would call your general program, and you have specific programs. Will you speak to those as far as so that people can understand how you've maybe tweaked those differently?
Yeah, sure. For instance, we have programs in which we can download energetically, say, a hormone. I'll speak how this works. I'm going to hold up a photograph of testosterone. Now, everything I do is energetic and instructional. If I were to place this photograph of testosterone inside the instrument side by side my photograph, I would receive the energy, not the chemical, the energy of testosterone. And what I've witnessed is that I'm stronger when I receive this male hormone therapy. That it gives me a boost of power, boost of energy. If a woman sends her photograph in, we're going to treat her with photographs of female hormones. Why? It's the energy field of estrone that enters into the energy field of a woman. Does it work? Well, according to many women, they no longer have hot flashes. They're not so irritable. They can sleep without interruption. Many of them say that if they are still menstruating, that their period is normal. It's not an abnormal flow. How is that possible? It's only possible through instructions. So imagine receiving the proper instructions for male hormones or female hormones through your photograph. Again, it's not a chemical process. This opens a new realm of nutrition by way of energy. Go ahead.
So someone wouldn't necessarily, because I can imagine, I feel like someone would be thinking, well, what if I'm, as a female, low in testosterone or everything is off kilter? How would just estrogen know? But is it sort of like hitting the default on your energetic body?
When I work with this energy, there's no human input. I don't tell the divine energy what to do. So the energy will send the proper information in proper proportion and ratio as is needed. I've never experienced an overdose. I've never experienced any type of chemical adverse reaction. Why? It's not because I'm an expert. It's because the energy knows what to do. I'll once again reiterate, this work is flawless. Energy never makes a mistake. I follow the laws of science, hence I never make a mistake because there's no human input. It's an energy interface, and that's it. Energy never makes a mistake. There are no negative side effects ever.
I love this. Okay, so I want you to talk about the difference between recovery and remission and health.
Okay.
With Scalar Light.
We'd have to define the terms. Let me take a stab at it. Today, I received another cancer testimony. I've been working with a woman just for 2 months. She had cervical cancer. She went for a checkup. Her markers are great. They're normal. She's been considered now in remission. From chemotherapy, after 2 months of Scalar sessions, no sign of a chemical marker, no sign of what we would consider the antigen that would signify any type of active cancer. How is that possible? Well, I have theories, and I have theories that the proper instructions through a photographic force field corrected her DNA. Can I prove that? No. Right? All of my work is invisible. We're never going to be able to photo record this. All of my work is invisible. This energy is by way of time-lapse photography, but let's face it, nobody's ever seen this invisible energy. You can by way of time-lapse photography. What is the point? I believe in the future that many people will see relief from cancer and tumors. We're having extraordinary results.
It's so incredible. You wrote on your website, you talked about scalar energy and how it can be utilized as an unlimited supply of energy to put an end to energy crisis.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So right now I'm at 1x. We have to start somewhere. This is a light bulb I'm holding in my hand. It's again in its factory package. If I can light up a light bulb locally, all I have to do is amplify that somehow 10,000 fold, 100,000 fold, and I will be able to light up a city. If I can light up one light bulb, imagine if I can light up 100,000 light bulbs, which is a city, or 1,000,000 light bulbs. I can. I'm working on a way to amplify the image.
I feel like I want to send security to your house. I mean, are we a little concerned about that? Like,
no, God protects me, but
God's got
I'll
you.
go.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. thanks for your concern. I'll go on record. If I can illuminate a light bulb locally, what's going to prevent me from illuminating a million light bulbs? It's just a matter of engineering.
Right.
Okay. And the day is coming that God will give me the wisdom that I can light up a building, a city. Now, all through the ether, without the need of cell phone towers or wires, without the need of any substation, because the ether, the medium of the universe, is free. So it's free energy from the sun and a free infrastructure, which is ether. and a lot of those concepts will resonate with people: free energy, clean energy, free and easy transmission of energy. This will solve the energy crisis.
So do you envision a day when cell towers, particularly 5G towers, disappear?
Yeah, I do. Tesla lamented later in his career. He said, "Oh, it's going to look ugly with all these towers throughout the countryside." He did not want that. He was working on wireless energy. He mentioned that many times: wireless energy. If it's wireless, you don't need cell phone towers. You don't need satellites. You don't need substations. You don't need transformers, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to leave behind the brick and mortar. The brick and mortar in the energy field is $10 trillion a year. There's a lot of brick and mortar in the existing energy paradigm, and a lot of that will be made obsolete.
So do you have a time frame in mind? I'm just curious.
Yeah, to let you know, God said he's going to give me the wisdom for this endeavor.
Okay.
We're starting to engineer what's necessary to amplify the energy. I'd say within the next 5 years, we'll demonstrate free energy.
That excites me. I pray over every 5G tower.
Yeah, yeah. You have to realize, see, Tesla later in his career, he was no longer interested in electricity. Nikola Tesla gave us AC electricity. Tesla gave us the modern day. But later in his career, Tesla advanced. He realized that AC electricity was inferior. It's a substandard invention. That doesn't belittle Tesla or anybody else. It simply calls to mind that AC electricity is a stepping stone to scalar energy.
This is amazing. So do you keep your picture there every day?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Okay.
treat myself every day to let the audience know I'm 64 years of age and I have no health consequences. I feel great. I don't take any pills. I'm not on any medication. I do not need surgery. I sleep well. I'm happy. This has worked. I'm a living testimony that this works.
Yeah. And I am for 15 days. Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. Now my girlfriend has continued. I took a little hiatus. My girlfriend has continued. And it's just, and she has a lot of dis-ease and a lot of, I don't want to say, she's got a lot of stuff going on in her body. And she has just praised this. I mean, it's brought us both to tears to be able to see her not in pain, to see, autoimmune diseases diminishing, the hot flashes diminishing, like you talked about. And it was so funny because we talked about it and I said, isn't this so wild? It was brought to me. And I said, I think it was brought to me for her ultimately because she needed this so desperately. Not that I don't feel every human doesn't. After experiencing it, I feel like this is one more thing that if every human had this opportunity, I don't think there would be hate and war and all the ugliness in the world. You couldn't. You're so happy. You're so calm.
Right. They're right. Many people have said this has taken their edge off. They're calmer. They don't get so excited. There's ups and downs in life. You just have to ride them out. It is profound. And especially when you speak of a dog or a cat. Now, a dog or a cat does not realize it's being treated, that their photograph wasn't sent to me. Well, your cats had a favorable outcome. That's not a placebo effect. Recently, I worked with a dog that had a tumor. The tumor has disappeared. It's gone. That's not the placebo effect.
It was amazing. I was just so in awe of it by day 3. And what I loved about your program was every day there was an email that was sent to me of here's what's happening. And here's, there was an affirmation or something. And it was like you were holding my hand the whole time, which I like hand holding. It was great.
Yeah, I think that's pertinent that we do that. We want to explain this. I don't expect people to understand this. This is groundbreaking. I'm the theorist behind this, so I have to explain this as we go.
Yeah. And I think that it's so great to have you on. And because now I totally want to science geek out with you even more. Like I'm so into like, can I have one? Like, what can we do with this? This is so amazing. But more so just, I love that you are aware and wanting to help people open their consciousness and aware and openly talking about the divine and God and working with his wisdom through you.
You're right. And, at the end of the day, you have to look at creation. In order to look at creation, eventually there has to be an uncreated supreme being. Because if you keep demanding what created that, what caused that, eventually, if you look at the universe, you have to say what created the universe. That, to me, that is an uncreated supreme being, God. And if that's correct, then God created the sun and the stars. That makes a lot of sense to me because there are infinite number of stars. How could you possibly do that by chance? So scalar energy is not by chance. It's divine planning. It's divine intelligence.
And what I feel you have just brought to life truly in black and white is those people say, oh, well, you're made of stardust. They say it very just happen. You're a little stardust. No, really, you have just proven in this podcast that we truly are all stars.
Yes. The storehouses for scalar energy are the sun and the stars. Now, if you've ever asked yourself what gives light to the sun and the stars, and there's trillions of galaxies, it has to be scalar energy. Scalar energy does not experience what is entropy, which loses its signal. Scalar energy never loses its signal, meaning it's a perpetual energy. It can never die or fade off. That's why the stars never die or fade off. So in order to have perpetual stars, you need a perpetual energy, which is scalar energy. That all stands to reason. Now we understand this fundament. Now we understand the motivating force of the universe. It's scalar light, scalar energy.
Mm-hmm. Something else you just reminded me of when you were saying that, and I don't know that if I included it in my email to you, I'm an uber highly sensitive, intuitive empath. So if there's the littlest solar flare that's popping off, I feel it. If there is something big that's happening in the earth, like I'll know so many days and hours ahead of time.
Really?
And the one thing that I noticed when I was experiencing the scalar light is that I was not getting beaten to hell with all of the solar flares as much as I normally would. It was almost as if I was like dodging them. Like they were like, whoosh, whoosh, like they were just passing through. They weren't getting stuck on the dense energy. And now to that being, a lot of people believe that the solar flares come to help release your dense energy and do what your scalar light does, which is raise your frequency.
Any solar flare is release of electromagnetic energy that's going to disrupt the chakras. The chakras are made of scalar energy, not electricity. So if we rebalance the chakras after they have been disrupted by a solar storm, then that brings people back to harmony. I'm saying that harmony is scalar energy. I'm saying disharmony, discord is electricity and magnetism. You can quote me on that. Scalar energy is perfect health. The electromagnetic spectrum is imperfect health.
It's so fascinating. I could talk to you for hours. I just want to know more. And I've never been a science or a math girl, but I can't get enough of this.
Nor can I. Every day I learn something in my laboratory. In the past week, I've been reading about Viktor Grebennikov, a great Russian scientist who used scalar energy to levitate on a platform. What am I getting at? Grebennikov, a scalar energy theorist, was able to create an instrument that levitated. And he overcame gravity. He had an anti-gravity instrument. So imagine what that means to mankind, to overcome gravity through scalar energy control and to be able to move about freely without the need of propulsion. You just manipulate gravity.
That's incredible. Now, is that something that people would use in, and I know people are talking about it coming out in the next so many years, the cars that can do that? Do you think that's the scalar energy?
I think some people have that vision, yes. To be clear, scalar energy is never oil or gas or any type of propulsion. It's simply rearranging the universe. You're actually at what Tesla would call the wheel work of nature. You're at the first principle level, which is energy. It has nothing to do with fossil fuels or propulsion or wind farms. So what am I getting at? Why did I mention that? Scalar energy someday will give us anti-gravity. Anti-gravity is the best way to transport. You won't need highways and roads. You just go from point A to point B in an anti-gravity platform, in an anti-gravity ship.
So am I just gonna, in a ship, or am I gonna close my eyes and go?
No, you'll be able to steer it. You'll be able to steer it. And just as you could steer a car, maneuver a car, Grebennikov was able to maneuver his instrument. And in so doing, to make this clear, Grebennikov, this Russian scientist, never felt any G forces. Why? Because he negated gravity. How did he negate gravity? By scalar energy. So scalar energy is the cause of gravity. If we can develop scalar energy instruments that will negate gravity, then we can move about freely, easily, and not have to worry about a collision.
I still want to send security to your house. Like I really do. I have so many thoughts and so many things to say, but I'm like, I don't know that we should go there.
No, go ahead. I'm an open book.
I mean,
I'm not hiding anything.
Oh no, I don't think you're hiding anything. I think I'm more worried that
the powers that be know about.
Yeah.
I'm a public figure. I don't hide.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to make of this. To be quite blunt, you have to understand this. You have to spend years studying scalar energy. And unless you have that firm understanding, then you can only look at a distance and either approve or disapprove.
Right. Well, I wholeheartedly approve. And everyone should try this. And speaking of which, Tom has something special that he'd like to offer all of you for listening today.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to give away everybody 15 days of free sessions, scalar sessions. My website has a standing offer. Anybody in the world can visit the website. You're entitled to 15 days of free sessions. The website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Visit the website and register your entire family. Include your pets if you want, and then you judge, as Jennifer has judged over the course of time, whether this is a benefit or not.
Absolutely. And of course, all of the links to scalarlight.com will be over in the show notes on jenniferpilates.com. So you can scoot over there, you can read more about it, and then click through to receive your complimentary 15 days for you and your family and your pets and your plants, if you want your plants too.
Exactly. We work with farmers. We're having great success. Thank you.
That's amazing. So this is a thought then. So do you think this is something? Well, no, I guess you wouldn't need to sell it. Like, would I just take a picture of a garden and send it to you and be like, please help my garden?
That's correct. That's correct. Many people send me photographs of their garden. They say, please remove the fungus from the garden. We have good success.
How about keeping rodents out?
No, ectoparasites, that's not our bag. But something, say a fungal infection, we have good success.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I love this. I really hope that you all take advantage. This is such a huge, special complimentary offer that Tom is doing, and I can't speak highly of it enough. I'm so honored to have come across Tom, to be able to experience it and to share it all with you. It's so incredible. So Tom, as we close out today, what is one last piece of inspiration or advice that you'd like to leave with us?
Okay. As I stated previously, everybody has a mind and a heart. What is that specifically? What am I getting at? What is God trying to teach us? We have that capability of scalar energy. Thinking, feeling are scalar waves. Now, this should resonate with many of you who believe in positive thinking. What's positive thinking? It's establishing a scalar wave to bring about reality. The way you think, a scalar wave, creates the situation that you want. You create your reality. The way you feel from your heart is a scalar wave, and you're creating your emotional field. So with this knowledge now that we're scalar beings, that we have control over scalar energy through prayer, meditation, by thinking, by feeling, this should give everybody an impetus to think properly, to feel properly, because you're co-creators with God. God is giving us this tool, scalar energy, the animating force, by thinking, by praying, by feeling. So with that knowledge now, create the world you want. Create this world of utopia, the world of peace and harmony. We have that in our power. This is why it's so important to pray every day. You're sending out scalar waves. Prayer works. It's scalar energy in action.
So incredible, Tom. I cannot thank you enough. I want to invite you back anytime you want to come with any new ideas or anything new that we can expand upon, because this is so important for every single human being, animal, plant on this world.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your incredible research, your insights. My goodness, your scalar light, all of it. I am so honored to have had you on today and to have been able to experience it.
My honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, everyone, again, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Check out the show notes so that you can hop onto Scalar Light and receive your complimentary 15 days session so that you too can feel the utopia in your world and within your family. As we say, until next time, may you live an empowered life from within. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within. What if your wellness practice could feel like a sacred return instead of another thing on your to-do list? Welcome to the Jennifer Pilates Wellness Studio, your on-demand sanctuary for realignment, healing, and empowerment. Inside, you'll find a unique fusion of Pilates-based movement, Reiki-infused meditations, and mindful body practices designed to support the woman over 40 living with more energy, ease, and alignment. This isn't just fitness. This is full body, whole being recalibration. Whether you've been feeling out of sync, burned out, or just craving a space that gets you, this is for you. With flexible monthly and annual memberships, you can begin wherever you are and grow from within. Start today at jenniferpilates.com. You don't need to do it all. You just need a place to come home to yourself. This is that place.